Hello, I'm Jackie Taylor, and I am the CEO of Agritourism Africa. It's a business I started in 2016. And today I'm going to keep the podcast really focused on a marketing plan and how you do one, but it's going to be limited to 10 minutes. So I've got a clock on, and I know people don't have the time to read. That's why I'm doing the podcasts. So let's go to the marketing plan. Why do you need a marketing plan? Well, it becomes easier if you know who you're talking to. For a start, I think it's also, if you do a marketing plan, you need to have a return on investment. Unless, of course, you're extremely wealthy. Also, marketing plan helps you identify gaps in the market or focus areas, and that's very important. You can't be all things to all people. I also think that everything you know about your business needs to be in a marketing plan. And if you've got a marketing plan, it really does reduce the frustration of being in agritourism. So what are we going to deal with today? Well, obviously, you've got to have marketing goals. You've got to have a target market. Yesterday, I spoke about what the brand personality is, and that's very important in the marketing plan. What are the assets? What do you have? And how are you going to communicate? Because without communication, you don't have a business. And then finally, how are you actually going to measure your marketing plan? Is it a success, or was it a success or not? So a marketing plan and a marketing campaign has to be actionable. It's not a theoretical exercise. It can be done in a few points. I never write out long sentences with marketing plans, and it actually helps to show a return on your investment. So that's really what it's about. And you can have and must have a customer focused marketing plan. In other words, that's not what you want necessarily. It's also what the market has, and the opportunities that are available in the marketplace. So what are your goals? That's the first thing you deal with in a marketing plan. Obviously, you want to build a positive brand association or reputation. You want to reach new audiences. You need to establish a list of assets that you really do need. For example, footage, video footage, or virtual tours that I mentioned yesterday. You also, in your goals, have to have a consistent message or a consistent brand. You can't jump all over the place. And you do want to reward loyal customers. So you have to have some customer or visitor loyalty plan. Customer research, what do people want? I keep getting back to that. And yes, we've got Professor Niels van Heerden. He does research. He knows what documents are out there. And then obviously sales. You know, it's no point coming up with a marketing plan and you don't include sales. So how do you manage your goals? Well, first actually mention them all, every single one. Then prioritize, because you're not going to be able to do it all, or you can possibly delegate. It depends on the size of your team. But you also need to identify the areas when you look at your goals, the goals that you've set, that actually stress you, that you're not comfortable with, because those goals will need to be delegated to someone else. And obviously, you know, the setting a date and setting a budget is really important. Otherwise, how do you assess how your marketing plan how achievable it was, and how successful it was. So I think it's really important. I know I'm rushing through this. I'm trying to stick to my 10-minute deadline. But it's really important to understand your audience and your customers. So who are your customers? How do you talk to them? How do you find them? And what are you going to tell them that's going to get them to come to your farm? So you've really got to listen and research so you know in a marketing plan what to do. So, for example, in agritourism, certain things are important. Location, where are you? Are you close to a city? Are you not? Are you part of an agritourism route or are you not? The age, who are you trying to attract? Is there a particular gender? What is their education or expectation levels? Do they have hobbies? How much can they afford? So all that sort of information is important when you discuss who your customers are. Then I spoke about it yesterday, the brand personality. That is, you cannot separate that from the farm or the farmer or the farming community. That comes as a whole. So look at it and then decide what is unique. There has to be a USP or unique selling point. What makes you different from all the other agritourism farms out there? And then remain consistent to that message. It's really important. You can't have a whole lot of diverse communication themes out there. So successful brands are always consistent. And also think about, how do you want people to respond to you? So you're putting out these communication messages that are part of a marketing plan, but what do you actually want them to do? Obviously come to your farm, but how are you going to facilitate that? And, that comes back to a point made yesterday about people. Agritourism is about people. People relate to people. People are emotional. So when you're discussing brand personality, when you think about communication messages, think emotions. It's a very unusual person who will come to a farm because you've said there is silver on the table and Granny's crocheted tablecloth. That is not going to get people to your farm unless they're quite unusual, which is also fine, but also have content themes. And that makes it a lot easier. So you take a calendar of events that you want, or in your area, if you only offer accommodation, put that down. So do it as an annual marketing plan. Look at what's happening and then come up with content themes, content communication themes. And that really will help. I know I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to start talking a bit faster. But what information does your business evoke? That's often what I'm asked. So if you asked me, if I was your customer and I was going to your farm, I'd say things, what type of emotions do I want to feel? Happiness, a sense of nostalgic, sort of going back to a farm environment, peacefulness. I want to be able to do something. So yes, exercise or being able to walk. Freedom, just having the freedom to actually be able to do what I want, when I want. Obviously, safety is an issue. And I just want to really love the experience. I want to go back with a feel good. I've had an amazing time and I feel emotionally good. And that needs to come through in a marketing plan. And Tell your audience about yourself. You know, people relate to people. Tell people who you are as a person. How did your business start? Who's on the farm? All those type of things. So how do we assess? How do we know all of this information we've put down in a marketing plan is successful? Well, it's quite easy on one level, and that is called analytics. And yes, that is definitely something you can speak to Camilla about. But analytics helps to measure the success of your marketing content plan. And then, you know, where your sales have come from, always have a feedback form in your cottages if you offer accommodation, or simply ask people, what did you enjoy? What did you not enjoy? How did you hear of us? And I think that's really, in a nutshell, what a marketing plan is. You know, it doesn't have to be something overwhelming. It can just sit down, have a glass of wine or a beer or a cool drink, whatever, relax, and then think about it in very simplistic terms. Don't worry about all these complicated marketing plans. No one actually looks at them, and they're normally just filed. So let's just quickly go back and just summarize. So your marketing plan, you're going to be setting marketing goals. You're going to be deciding who are your customers. You're going to be thinking about who you are as a brand, as a farm. You're going to be thinking about your assets. What do you have on your farm, and what's unique, and what activities can you offer? What are the assets? And then what communication messages? How are you going to communicate this? This is obviously where I mentioned research, and you need to speak to a research professor. And then really to measure is very important. That's probably as important as deciding who your customers are. You've got to go back and look every few months and decide, is your marketing plan working or not? And if it's not, then you've got to come up with next steps. So that's it, short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay well and be well.